Huh? I'm a man of few words, brother. All right. I'm going to hide his agenda here, and then he won't be able to see what's going on. So, well, welcome. Had a nice rainy drive coming down here tonight. So, how is everybody tonight? Good. All right. Well, as he said, I'm Terry Gooden, State Representative in District 66, and District 66 covers Scott County, part of Jefferson County, which is Madison and Hanover in that area. Then I have all of the east end of Clark County. So Charlestown, New Wash, Otisco, Nab, some of the areas over there. I think I have more land mass than anyone, but I think some of the other people have more people than I have. So but, it's funny how those things work, huh? So with that, I want to say thank you for having me with you. It's a privilege and an honor to be here tonight. And you know, they say politics is the second oldest profession in the world. So, but yeah. You know what? I'm starting to think that might be a little bit backwards because of all the money that's going into campaigns now. I think it may be taking over first. What do you think? So, you know, I want to make sure I get all the appropriate thank yous in here tonight. And all those folks who put this event together. And Nicole's not here, and somebody's probably already done this, thanking everyone. But Nicole called me and asked me to come over. I didn't have to say a second name. Everybody knows who Nicole is, right? Yeah. All right. So, I want to say thank you, though, and everybody else that brought in gifts and prizes and all that. Thank you. This couldn't be done without you, so we appreciate that very much. You know, there was a lady walking down the street the other day, and as she was walking, all of a sudden she heard this loud voice say, "Stop! Don't take another step." She stopped, and just as soon as she stopped, a big pile of bricks just fell out of nowhere right in front of her. She's like, "Whoa, what happened?" So she just ignored it like it didn't happen. She goes on, walks about another 10 minutes or so, and all of a sudden she hears this voice again. It says, "Stop! Don't take another step." She stops, and a car just comes out of nowhere and skids right in front of her. And she's saying, "Whoa, wait a minute here, what's going on?" And all of a sudden, she hears this voice. And this voice said, "Hi, I'm your guardian angel, and I'm here to protect you." She kind of looked up and she's kind of wiped the sweat from her brow and she said, "Whew, thank goodness." He said, "Yeah." He said, "Do you have any questions for me?" She stood there for a second. She said, "Yeah, where were you on my wedding day?" I think that was my wife telling that story. But, you know, with that, this young man that was up here before, give him another big hand. You know, this future of the Democrat Party and the future of all politics, wherever it's at, we've got to have young people in the room. And I'm glad to see young folks here tonight. So that's a big plus. But you know, he was talking about Donald Trump. Boy, yeah. I'm sorry I had to say the word, but to get to the point I'm going to make, I got to say his name. But Donald Trump says he wants to build a wall. Okay, to begin with, folks, how crazy can someone be to think that someone says they're going to build a wall and he's going to make them pay for it? The Mexican government pay for it. Now, how silly is that? All right, to begin with. So I don't know those people that are following around. I don't know if they're what they're from or what they're doing, but I don't think he's going to get that wall built, folks. But let me tell you what, Donald's a little bit late because there's already been a wall built in America. And that wall right now separates people, and they're trying to separate them even more by socioeconomics, gender, and race. Yep. Folks, it's time that women started earning the same amount of money as men when they're standing next to them on the line doing the same work. You know, as we were up in the legislature this last session, and we was talking about how can we make Indiana better? How can we move Indiana forward? How can we do things that's going to make Hoosiers have a better way of life? You know, the only thing that we could get out of our other colleagues from the other cloth is attacks and viral attacks on certain people in our state. As a matter of fact, folks, I don't know if you know this or not, but the welcome sign in Indiana still says, "Not everyone is welcome." All right, this young man talked about that as well. As a matter of fact, folks, I think the state legislature and the Republicans themselves actually wanted to change Indiana's motto. They want to change the motto from Hoosier Hospitality. They want to change it from Hoosier Hospitality to if it ain't broke, fix it till it is. I'm telling you folks, it's absolutely ridiculous the issues that we've been dealing with up there. As a matter of fact, you just saw where the governor decided now he wants to take preschool money, Heidi. He sent a letter and said, okay, I think we're ready now for preschool. $82 million over the last 2 years. He's a little late, Teresa, you're exactly right. $82 million a year, and it's been 2 years now. Multiply 82 times 2, folks. Thank you. $164 million. All right, I wasn't very good at math, I'm glad you said that. $164 million, folks, in 2 years. That the state of Indiana has not garnered for our children because of ideology of this governor. That is wrong, folks. It's time we started funding the largest rung on the socioeconomic ladder, folks, and that's our education system in the state of Indiana. There is no greater or better leveler in this state than a good high school and college education, folks, or a good trade education. You can't get any better than that. That's how you get above your class in society. Now, folks, it's time we get back to the basics. All right? Here's the basics, folks. In school, we teach the 3 R's, and some of you folks may not know this, some of you do, but I'm a superintendent of schools up north in Crothersville. And we teach the 3 R's at Crothersville. All right? We all know the 3 R's about reading, writing, and arithmetic. But I'll tell you another 3 R's that need to be taught in the schools as we move forward and across our state. The first R is respect for self. It's time we started giving kids the self-esteem they can have so they don't get on drugs when they're in 6th grade and go the wrong way. It's time, folks, for the second R. Respect for others. It's time we started respecting others for the way they feel and the way they believe and not condemn them because they don't believe like us. Finally, the third R is responsibility for your own actions. There you go. It's time we gave, go ahead. Absolutely. It's time we gave kids the ability to move forward in life and go the straight and narrow path and not have to be diverted because the state of Indiana decides that this kind of kid doesn't deserve the same kind of education as they get in Hamilton County, Indiana. That's right. That's exactly right. You know, folks, Indiana can do better. Oh, yeah. We can do better. We really can. And you know what? I'll tell you something else we can do better at. We can start attracting industry and businesses to our state that think our workers are better than $7.50 an hour. It's time Indiana started creating a living wage, folks, and if any corporation that gets a tax abatement or a tax break should be forced to pay a living wage. Now, I'm going to tell you why that's the case. Here's why. Corporations come in, and I'm not saying there's bad corporations. There are bad corporations and there's good corporations, but here's where we need to be. Corporations come in, and taxpayers like you and I get the double whammy on it. Because these industry come in, they get the tax breaks, we pick up their property tax, they don't pay a living wage. When their children come to school, they sign up, we have to give them free books and free lunch. All right, folks? The only people making out in that deal are the corporate bigwigs that take it to some other state and lay out on the beach in the summertime and the winter while we're still pulling here in the winter trying to make it go. So folks, as we move forward, we have to move the state of Indiana forward, and we've got to start treating Indiana workers and Hoosier workers better than what we do. I think Hoosier workers deserve better than that. What do you think, folks?
Yes.
You know, finally I'm going to say this. The other day, my wife Darcy back here, I better recognize her. I recognized her earlier. She wasn't the lady that said that, by the way, the bricks don't like.
Good say.
Look over here. But, you know, I'll say this. We were there, and we've got 3 kids. The oldest one's Grace. We've got a 3-year-old named Burley, just had a birthday. Burley's my dad's name, family name. And we've got a 4-month-old named Brown. It's my grandfather's name. So, well, the 3-year-old, I don't know how, these kids start this earlier now. I don't know where he got this. But he came to me, and he said, Dad, Probably because of the baby. He said, where do babies come from? Yeah. You're laughing, Perry. I wasn't laughing. So I said, that's easy, Burley. I said, you know, Adam and Eve were created by God. They got married. They had babies. And all these thousands of years, here we are. He said, oh, that's easy. That's simple. Well, he goes into the other room where his mother's at. And all of a sudden, about 4 or 5 minutes later, he comes running in there screaming at me. He said, Dad, you lied to me. You lied to me. I said, what? He said, you lied to me. I said, how did I lie to you? He said, Mommy got out a book and showed me a book. It said that people were created, it started out as an amoeba, and we get to an ape and we become people. I said, Burley, I said, relax. I said, that was her side of the family. You folks know her family. I know you're right, huh? I love my in-laws. I love them. They're the best. I've got the best in-laws in the world. So with that, folks, I'm going to say this as we move forward. I know there's other speakers, and it's time for me to get out of the way. But I'm going to say thank you. Those folks that live in District 66, I see them back there. They're great fans. I love them. I can't be lucky enough to represent, sorry folks, the best legislative district in the state of Indiana. All right?
All right.
But I will say this, and I always like to say this because this is the truth. I'm Terry Gooden, State Representative in District 66, and I'm proud to say that I serve Clark County, Indiana, in the Indiana General Assembly. So with that, folks, I'll move along. I want to say thank you for listening. God bless Clark County. God bless Indiana. And God bless America. Thank you, folks, for being here.